So I'm going to read two poems. The first poem is called My Sister's Boy. The day my sister's boy was born, she poured honey and whiskey into a pan, stirred warmed palm oil in, mixed them with her hands several times, then smeared it all over the boy's body. "This is how I will love you," she said, as if to herself, her hands rubbing his groin and buttocks. He studied her a while and giggled, then stuck a thumb into his pink mouth and sucked it with his eyes closed. "It's exactly how I will love you, baby." Someone ran outside and fixed a white flag onto the roof to announce the birth. Women came with pails of home brew. Someone sacrificed a bull. Still, we had to wait and wait for rain in order to place the infant out and leave him there till he toughened, enough to take the name the tribe would place in him. He smelled the air and smiled. The second poem was inspired by the poem of another person whose name was Chris van Wyk, a South African poet. And Chris had written a poem about detention in South Africa. In South Africa, people were detained for whatever reason. I was detained in South Africa in 1981. I spent 24 hours in a South African jail in 1981 after having ran away from my own country, Lesotho. And the reason I was detained was never disclosed. And in fact, I discovered afterwards that in South Africa, during apartheid, black people had to have a particular document on their person at all times, and this document was called a pass. The laws that governed it were called pass laws, and if you were South African and you were a certain age and you wanted to go from, say, Cape Town to Johannesburg, you had to go to the police station or to your boss and get your pass stamped. It means that, in effect, if you wanted to go from Paris to Bordeaux today, you had to go to the police station and get something stamped for you to be able to go to Bordeaux. So what happened was that my family and I were refugees in South Africa, and we were not South Africans, so we didn't have the particular paper that was required. And this poem, in fact, deals with that, with people who were detained for no reason except the fact that they didn't have that paper and they were citizens of the country. And Chris van Wyk, the poet, wrote about a specific place called John Vorster Square. And I picked up the idea from him, and I wrote a poem called Reasons for Killing a Child in His Sleep. The reason I chose this is because my nephew was killed when he was 3 years old. And so I'm going to read Reasons for Killing a Child in His Sleep after Chris van Wyk, whom I admire and I thank. Reasons for killing a child in his sleep. It was dark, and the gun was distracted. The distracted gun was dark, and it was the gun. It was distracted and was dark. Therefore, I couldn't see straight enough. Enough, therefore. I couldn't see straight. Couldn't I, therefore, see straight enough? Someone else was meant for that death, For death meant someone was that else. Else that death was meant for someone. His mama used him as a human shield. A shield used him as his human. Mama used the shield. His mama, human as him. Struggles among men are blind and cruel. And among men cruel struggles are blind. Cruel men are blind and among struggles. I did not mean to kill him, Your Honor. Did I not, Your Honor, kill to mean him? Not your kill, I did mean to honor him.